A middle manager screamed at an older black intern, "Get your dirty hands off my project or I will end you." He mocked the wrong man. He thought he was displaying power. He thought he was untouchable. He called himself wealthy, and the black intern worthless. But karma doesn't care about your job title. Because what this manager, Marcus, didn't know was that the man he was abusing wasn't just an intern. He was the owner of the entire building. And 30 minutes later, Marcus wasn't screaming. He was begging him to save his career. But by then, it was too late. The trap was already shut. Have you ever been maltreated by a higher authority because of the color of your skin? Let us know in the comments. David wasn't just rich. He was the CEO of Titan Industries, a man who built an empire from nothing. But reports were failing. Good employees were quitting. And they all pointed to one department: sales. David needed the truth, not the boardroom version, the gritty, ugly truth. So the CEO disguised himself as Dave, a 45-year-old entry-level black intern. He walked into the lion's den, and he was about to meet the lion. Dave walked in. He was 5 minutes early. Marcus didn't welcome him. He didn't even look up. He just pointed to the coffee machine. "You, old guy. Late? Don't speak unless I tell you to." David swallowed his pride. He got the coffee. When he returned, Marcus took a sip and spat it on him. "Cold. Do it again. And if you waste my time again, I'll deduct it from your paycheck." "Oh wait, you barely have one." The office went silent. Everyone looked down. They were terrified. For 2 weeks, David watched. Marcus wasn't just mean. He was a thief. He stole ideas from the junior staff and presented them as his own. Then, the first threat appeared. 2 o'clock. Marcus called the team into the conference room. He held up a red folder. "Corporate is watching," Marcus lied. "If we don't hit double the quota by Friday, I'm firing half of you, starting with the intern." He looked at David. "I'll make sure you never work in this city again. I'll blacklist you so hard you won't even get hired to clean toilets." It was a lie. Titan Industries had no such quota. Marcus was squeezing them to pump his own bonus. David clenched his fist under the table. He wanted to fire him right there. But he couldn't. Not yet. He needed proof. He needed to see how deep the rot went. David started digging. He found the creative accounting. Marcus was falsifying sales records. He was inflating numbers to trigger his bonuses, then blaming the inevitable drop on his team. Dave tried to warn him. He approached Marcus's desk with a file. "Sir, these numbers, they don't add up. If the audit comes..." Marcus stood up and screamed, "You think you know numbers? You're a failed mechanic trying to play business. Get out of my face." He grabbed David's arm. "You are property of this company, and I own you." Something changed in David's eyes. He stopped arguing. He stopped trying to help. He went silent. Marcus thought he had broken him. He laughed to his assistant. "See? Break the spirit, and they work harder." But David wasn't working harder for Marcus. He was building a coffin for Marcus's career. For 30 then, a new threat emerged. A dangerous one. Marcus found David's notebook. It contained dates, times, and insults. Marcus turned pale. He realized Dave was documenting a hostile work environment. He cornered David in the break room. "No cameras. You think you're smart?" Marcus hissed. "I know you're recording things. Here is what is going to happen." He pulled out a legal document. "You signed this NDA. It says everything you created belongs to me. And if you talk to HR, I will sue you for corporate espionage. I will frame you for the missing funds. I have the passwords. I'll put the money in your account." It was a frame job. A perfect trap. If David refused, Marcus would plant the evidence. David looked at the paper. He looked at Marcus. "I'll sign," David said softly. "But I want to present the final report to the board on Friday." Marcus laughed. "You? Present to the board? Fine. You can carry my bags. You can watch me receive my promotion. Sign it." David signed. Friday came. The boardroom. This was the day Marcus had been waiting for. The day he would become VP. He walked in, wearing a $3,000 suit. He threw his bag at David. "Set up the projector, intern. Don't embarrass me." David set it up. He placed the laptop on the podium. 6 o'clock, but there was one final threat. Just before the meeting started, Marcus leaned into David's ear. "After this meeting, you're fired," Marcus whispered. "I'm going to tell the board you tried to sabotage the presentation. Security is already on their way to escort you out. You're done." Marcus smiled. He checked his watch. Minutes. Minutes until his victory. The board members filed in. They looked serious. Marcus took the stage. "Gentlemen, thank you for coming. I'm pleased to report that my department is the only one keeping this company afloat." He clicked the remote. The screen didn't show a sales chart. It showed a video. The audio boomed through the speakers. "I will frame you for the missing funds. I'll put the money in your account." Marcus froze. His face went white. He looked at the laptop. He looked at David. "Turn it off." Marcus screamed. The intern, he hacked the system. Security. He lunged for the laptop. "Sit down, Marcus," a voice said. It wasn't the board chairman. It was Dave. David stepped away from the wall. He took off the thick glasses. He straightened his back. The slouch was gone. The fear was gone. He didn't look like an intern anymore. He looked like a titan. "You," Marcus stammered. "Who do you think you are? You're just a nobody." One of the board members stood up. "Marcus, I'd like to introduce you to our CEO, David Sterling." The room went dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Marcus looked at the board. They weren't looking at him. They were looking at David with respect. The intern was the man who signed Marcus's paychecks. David walked to the head of the table. He sat down. "You called me worthless," David said calmly. "You said I was your property. You threatened to ruin my life." "Sir." "Mr. Sterling." Marcus was sweating. It was a motivation tactic. Tough love. I was pushing him to be better. We have record numbers. "No," David said. He slid a folder across the table. "You have fake numbers. And stolen wages. And a lawsuit for harassment waiting to happen." David looked at the security guards who had just entered. The ones Marcus had called. "Escort him out," David said. "Wait. Please." Marcus fell to his knees. "I have a mortgage. I have an Aston Martin lease. You can't do this." "You're right," David said. "I can't just fire you." He leaned forward. "I'm pressing charges for embezzlement. And I'm personally calling every CEO in this city to tell them exactly what kind of manager you are." He mocked the wrong man. And it cost him everything. Minutes later, Marcus was on the street. No job. No reference. And soon no freedom. David walked back into the sales department. The staff looked terrified. They thought they were next. "Marcus is gone," David announced. "And he's never coming back." He pointed to Sarah, the employee whose work was stolen. "Sarah, I saw your real numbers. You're the new department head." The room erupted in cheers. Marcus thought power meant screaming the loudest. He thought wealth allowed him to treat people like dirt. But true power isn't about how many people you can control. It's about how many people you can serve. David saved the department. But more importantly, he taught Marcus a lesson he would never forget. Karma is always watching. And sometimes it wears an intern's badge. Don't let arrogance destroy your empire. Always treat people well, no matter their color and status. Subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories. And click the like button if you believe justice was served. See you in the next story.